Let's settle the debate once and for all. So what is a growth designer? What is a product designer? What are the differences? I get these questions over and over again, and especially after I posted my first video, What is a growth designer? People are eager to learn what are the distinctions. As you might notice in the first video, I deliberately avoided this debate because for me, they are merely semantics. I approach product design and growth design exact same way. Explore the problem space, gather data, doing research, iterate based on your learnings. But as I'm doing more of my design podcast interviews and post more design career and job content, I realize that the industry uses the two terms very differently. There is a specific meaning behind each design discipline. So I think there is merit to actually talk about the distinction between the two types of design roles. And here we are. Let's explore some of the distinctions between the two. Some of the reasons why I didn't like doing this type of distinction early on is because most of the distinctions to me are oversimplifications and misconceptions between growth design and product design. Let's talk through some of these so you see what I mean. One of the most common oversimplifications that I hear is growth focused on business growth, which is such an oversimplification of this discipline or any design discipline. Because to me, every designer should focus on business growth. No matter you're in product, you're in growth, or you're in design system. Every project you do should have some sort of meaningful improvement to your business. If there is no meaningful business impact, why you're doing it in the first place? Business exists to help people. If you don't care about business growth, you're not going to reach more people, so you can create value in their lives. And if your business simply doesn't exist because you are just burning money, you are not going to help people for the long term because your product will not exist. So business growth is very important to everything you do as a designer. That's the only way for you to reach people and help people. If you look at all the career ladders and career matrix, and you see impact to the business show up in your level docs over and over again for almost every level. There is no career growth if you just stay in your designer bubble and not consider that. So I recommend every designer to consider business impact as part of their design process. One other thing that I hear a lot is, I want to hire growth designers, because growth designers run A/B testing. That is also an oversimplification and misconception of the design field. I think what type of method do you use? Scientific method like A/B testing, multivariate testing, versus you just roll out and do a lot of things based on your opinion and intuition is largely based on your company culture. I know a lot of product teams primarily run A/B tests, especially for consumer companies like DoorDash or Yelp. Product teams run A/B tests on every new feature or every improvement because that's the only way they will know if something works. That's the only way they can get trustworthy learnings. So not just growth teams, product teams also run A/B tests. One other oversimplification that I heard is growth team iterate faster. And yes, a long time ago, when Adobe shipped software in a box, product design takes forever, years to ship. But those days are long gone. More and more product teams are adopting rapid iterations like Figma or Linear. They've demonstrated to us over and over again they can deliver high quality features in a very short amount of time. So that is no longer a distinction between product design and growth design anymore. is more of a testament of your product culture. So what are the differences then? One of the best definitions that I've heard is product designers focus on adding value to the product, and growth designers focus on connect this value that your product team created to the customers. Let's unpack this a little bit. As a product designer, it's probably more common that you will work on new features. These things add value to the customers. And these value may or may not be obvious to your customers though. Let's take Notion for example. Notion is a fantastic product. My life functions on Notion nowadays. But what I constantly hear from designers or other non-technical people is, I don't get Notion. The word get means the connection of the value the product is offering to your perception of this value. Without this connection, you simply don't really know what's the point of this tool. Why is Notion better than Google Suite? They have failed to communicate this value. So I think while Notion is a fantastic product, they can use a little bit love from growth and growth design to really think about how can they immediately convey the value of Notion very early on in their user journey, and therefore probably improve their activation significantly. And that's a fantastic example of how a product that creates lots of value might fail in the growth area, which is connection or perception of this value. As a growth designer, you will be working on problems to solve exactly that. You will find yourself focusing on activation. How can you remove friction? How can you offer more education and onboarding so more people early on in their journey will experience this value? You might focus on retention and engagement, which is how you can consistently deliver value, more value, and over again for someone to create this habit and realize this is a tool they need to come back to over and over again. So I think that is the biggest distinction between product and growth. In the industry, people are using these terms very specifically in their job description so that you know what they're expecting this designer to bring. For example, if you apply for a product design role, you are probably evaluated against your ability to create end-to-end experience, even pixel perfect experience with the highest quality. You will most likely be evaluated against your knowledge in terms of UX and interaction design, complex user flows, or design system thinking. On the other hand, if you apply for a growth design role, chances are you are getting evaluated against your business acumen, your product thinking ability, and your ability to rapidly iterate and move fast. Learn to live with a solution that's not 100% perfect. Very different things to highlight during your job interviews. And the type of work that you will work on once you get the job will be very different too. This also helps you align your job expectations. As a product designer, you are more likely to work on new features, improvement of existing features, design system components, even complex flow optimizations, things like that. And for a growth designer, you will be working on one or two business metrics like activation or retention. Your job will largely consist of onboarding flows, checkout flow optimization, and coming up with multiple different solutions for the same problem and iterate on the same concept over and over again to find the optimized solution over time. You might also work on feature improvement and general UX improvement. If you realize there's a lot of friction, you will need to collaborate with your core experience team to work on it together. So those are some of the most meaningful distinctions that I experienced in my career. Understanding these nuances is actually quite helpful for you to figure out which area you are in based on your interests and skill set. It will also help you navigate the job market with a little bit more clarity. So what do you think? What is your definitions of a product designer versus a growth designer? And how is product and growth carried out in your company? I'd love to know. Make sure you comment below to share with all of us. And if you find this video helpful, please hit the like button or subscribe to the channel for more content like this. Also, make sure you check out my What is a Growth Designer to learn more about the field of growth design. I'll see you in the next episode.